saw it off my wife's head yesterday. It's a bloody hard thing to do, I can tell you, but I hyped myself up for it. I paced about energetically for a few minutes, slapped my face two-handedly, roared at the air several times, then jumped up and down and shook loose. Took the stairs 3 or 4 at a time, burst through the bedroom door and ran around screaming. She shrieked in unison. I could virtually smell the friction burns beneath the bed-tied bonds. Oh, I can't help it, I get all alliterative and passionate when I recall the details of our ordeal. Okay, calm down now. Let's put some scientific distance between myself and the event. The initial stages present this particular difficulty with a second or two's delay. Sufficient aperture having been opened up, the ripping apart of the jugular vein had blood fountaining up into my face, obscuring my vision momentarily. A quick wipe and I was ready to continue with the procedure. The subject's flesh had snagged on the jags of the saw lodged in the subject's slender neck. I watched as our limited physical exertions rose quickly to a peak, subsiding slowly there afterwards, as loss of blood brought her gradually to unconsciousness. I'd anticipated that a steady hand and a mobile subject would be necessary to exploit that first shallow groove, so that I may progress to bone with a minimum of fuss. It was all stopping and starting for several seconds or so, sort of symbolic of sex, I thought. A lot of alliteration there, wasn't there? Don't get us wrong, I was never passionate about sex. Not with her anyway, not with the subject, that is. Where was I? Oh yes, between the second and third vertebrae, I believe. I had coursed through the first half of the trachea in less than a minute, though then collapsed under the pressure of my emotions. It still provided a handy slot to guide the gliding blade across the girth of the spinal column. Here's where perspiration baptised inspiration. My tendon saw wasn't long enough to maintain a sufficient pace to get through this more resilient of substances in one go. During several rests, I speculated on the raison d'etre of this experiment, expedience, or however one would wish to describe it. Somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes it took me to part the vertebrae. I'm not a fit man, you see. It wasn't about physical power, I'd decided. It wasn't even about psychological power over another, no. What was driving me was the urge to assert the dominance of will over conditioning. As my soul scraped steadily on, I dwelt upon the assumed limitations of even the best master of mine, society's legacies of taboos, morals, traditions, logic, procedure. I then came to concentrate my thoughts on perceiving that negligible added resistance offered by the subject's nerve bundles. This I did, though I could not as yet say if the experience came via my imagination. I believe I am under no illusion. When I had calculated that I had but a millimetre or two of bone to get through, I almost decided to whimsically snap it with the chop from the edge of my hand. I put that option aside for possible future reference, however. This one had to be special. It was the first. It was the beginning and the most difficult I could currently conceive. It needed to be infused with its original, pure, simple and serious essence of self-determinism. Soon the jagged saw jarred slightly. I felt the teeth biting at the muscle tissue. The neck buckled visibly. I carried on. The subject's head began to tilt toward me. Coming as I was to the final stage, the subject's head rolled over onto his cheek, twisting the skin at the nape of the neck. This made it difficult for the saw to maintain an omnidirectional and fluid path. I righted the head, gripping onto the nose with my right hand while my left cut on below. The skin slipped about on the blood-slick plastic-coloured mattress, reminding me of slicing fish for the cat with a blunt knife. The saw caught the plastic on the far side of the near-severed head. I improvised a chopping board from a frameless mirror. Finally, I was through, and I disposed of the evidence and reflected on a job well done from the comfort of my fireside armchair. And what's next, I thought? Something sexual or a different tack altogether? How about getting to grips with lateral thinking or postmodernist theory?
Yes. Thank you. That was very interesting. Very interesting. I've been giving your case a lot of thought. Yeah, a lot of thought. And I'm doing some research as well, and the police have been very helpful. And I think I've managed to search out someone who could assist us to confront your problems head on, so to speak. And then we can begin to examine the more deep-seated cause of your condition, the less recent events. Yes? What do you think?